On this day, I have been allowed back inside DKFM Shoegaze radio. But you might be wondering, why was I not allowed to go inside DKFM Shoegaze radio previously? What is DKFM Shoegaze radio? Or even, what is Shoegaze? So, considering this was a video game channel yesterday, I might as well explain the basics. This is my first time ever talking about music specifically on this channel, which is fun. But this little case popped up and I decided, oh, I'd really like to talk about that because while I run the risk of doing that YouTube thing where I speak in front of people and they assume I know a lot about the thing, I don't know an exceptional amount about shoegaze or certainly DKFM. I have a limited but passionate amount of exposure to both things, and I mean, just generally here. So this is an online, like, internet radio, like an independent radio, which, for starters, is novel as hell. I found it back in 2023 when I was on a big shoegaze kick, maybe in like spring 2023, and I enjoyed the heck out of it up until an event occurred that got me banned from DKFM later in like late summer. Maybe fall 2023, and it wasn't just me. A lot of people could no longer listen to DKFM Shoegaze radio. It was a big affair, actually. So, it's like an internet radio thing run out of LA, I think, by a bunch of passionate people from the industry who like the music and stuff like that. And it's been really, really cool. There are numerous reasons why I've really enjoyed my time with it. One of which is just, who listens to the radio anymore? Like, you can listen to this and it's all focused on one genre, though the genre itself is a little bit difficult to define and tends to invite kind of look-alike, similar blurry line type cases. But nonetheless, a very fun thing to gather your songs around. And yeah, you know me, I like dedication. I'm no longer dedicated to one thing here, but I like dedication, so it's very fun having an endless tap of one general thing, and just hearing people be like, top of the hour, DKFM, and say like some snarky little joke. I really miss that. Like, when is the last time you listened to the radio and got to hear a little like, booper-duper DKFM, like transition? It's so incredibly novel. I played it as celebration while visiting my friend on the island, and she was like, are we listening to the radio right now? I'm like, hell yeah. It's been like 15 years, but that's just internet radio, right? What is shoegaze? Well, you see, the DK reference, the FM stands for FM radio, even though I don't think internet radio uses FM. DK sounds like decay. It sounds like decay, like rotting flesh or metal or wood. Decay is your introduction to shoegaze. I'm not the best person to explain shoegaze, but it is on the poll, the mega poll that I just put in the community tab section. I'll put the link in the description if you want to vote for things for me to talk about with my new liberation. Shoegaze is a genre. It's like a moody kind of 90s alt rock that came from England, which might be enough to make you say like, okay, I got the picture, it's not for me or whatever. The general gist, as it was explained to me, which is itself a very sweet story, very emblematic of my good old days as a barista. It's a very sweet story about kind of capturing the fun from back when I was a barista, when a shoegaze fan had me one-on-one for like 5 hours of talking and making smoothies and explained it to me. Point is, it's like washy guitars. Walls of sound are kind of the idea. The big famous groups would include groups like My Bloody Valentine, which is already a connection for me because of another thing I'm going to talk about later. But if you've ever heard of My Bloody Valentine or their famous album Loveless, because you played Final Fantasy VII, I'll get to that later. Not today. My Bloody Valentine, very popular. Loveless, very popular. That's like the textbook number one thing. You've got these walls of guitars versus like clear melodies. You've got just like walls of reverb and special effects on the guitars to just make like more of like a big texture, like a big blanket that you kind of wrap yourself up in. It's a very calming, kind of tranquil thing. Shoegaze as a name, I believe, was a kind of a dismissive term people used for it in the like British. It was big in Britain, as most things were in the 90s. It was this thing people used to kind of dismissively write off artists because people who make this music are guitarists with tons of effects pedals, and an effects pedal is on the floor. So if you're spending the whole concert adjusting your pedals, you're staring down at your feet. But I think these days people kind of think of it as awkward people kind of zoning out and staring at their shoes because they're too shy to talk to people who don't share their hobby or make any friends at all. So shoegaze is kind of an enveloping, warm, weirdo genre that I like a lot. It's more of an influence on things that I love than something I'm specifically like super duper passionate about. But I love a good shoegaze phase, especially in the winter. It's a really nice thing to warm up with. And as I've kind of described, it's a trance. It's a very peaceful genre. It's a very enveloping thing. So having an endless supply of shoegaze that is chosen by people who love it and is just being played all hours of the day, it makes you feel kind of like warm and secluded, but also a little bit connected to something else. DKFM was like a drug to me as soon as I found it. I think it's so cool, and almost every time I listened, I would find an amazing song, and oh my goodness, it was just perfect. It was just perfect for that era. I listened to DKFM going to Logan Airport in Boston at like 4 or 5 in the morning multiple times in 2023. Can you imagine driving on the highway on a misty 4 a.m. and then you hear this shit? It was transcendent. It was unbelievable. It was one of my favorite musical experiences, finding a new, angelic, weird, and washy song like Temple of Angels' Tangled in Joy there. Just, oh my goodness. I think so highly of that song. I think so highly of that album. And the way that I met it, totally by chance, not from some algorithm, not from Spotify choosing algorithm songs, but from like a radio program at the airport, like 4 in the morning, transcendent, the most liminal, beautiful, atmospheric little moment ever. So that was my love affair with DKFM. But how did I get banned from DKFM? Well, that might be the question. That might be what it is that you're wondering. I moved, if you follow the timeline, I moved at this point in history. I no longer was in America. I started to be somebody who lived in Japan. And because it was Japanese shoegaze that got me interested in shoegaze that year, I happened to tweet, bold as I was, "Boy, I hope the 3 a.m. team at DKFM knows how much we appreciate them in Japan." And they did not interact with my tweet. But on their Twitter, they said, "As a reminder, our license does not permit anybody outside of the US or Canada to listen to our music." In which I got very shy and I went, oh no. And I started thinking twice before listening to DKFM Shoegaze radio from Japan, because I was not allowed to. And then one day I tried, and I believe I was blocked. I believe they found a way to block people, but on this day, on this week, after a long time, I finally thought, can I access DKFM Shoegaze radio now? And the answer is yes. The answer is yes, I can do that. Because they changed the licensing. I don't know much about licensing. I might get a job in the business. I don't know what's going to happen. But at the moment, I don't know anything about international music licensing. But they found a way to let people listen worldwide. So that's how I'm no longer banned from listening to DKFM Shoegaze radio. And I suggest that you give it a little peep yourself. I've been enjoying it quite a lot. Let's do a little tour of DKFM. We got the top charts. Again, I'm not like there's no genre where I know like everything about everything. I'm certainly not like super up to date on shoegaze. The only time I ever feel up to date on shoegaze is when I'm allowed to listen to DKFM Shoegaze radio. This is the listener charts. Future Fires, The City. I don't know them. I'm constantly discovering new bands. I don't know any of these bands. I don't know a single one of these bands. Regicide. They got the New Candies Regicide chat. They got videos. You can watch videos. I might get into Dicey Water if I put them there. We got promotional videos. Yeah, they got their own theme songs now. I heard theme songs, so they're actually very, very nicely made. We got some kind of event. We got the Calamash Shoegazer 2024. Well, that's actually the past. The Midwest longest running Shoegaze Yupa Festival. Oh my goodness. Yeah, speaking of genres and stuff, people argue a whole lot whether or not certain stuff is dream pop or shoegaze. That's like the second thing you have to learn about shoegaze. Shoegaze, if you stick to the washy walls of guitars and the kind of faded out vocals that go along with that, you can usually call a shoegaze. But yeah, dream pop tends to kind of mix in. Gets very hard to choose what. They got merch. Like, I don't know the story about this place, but it seems well made. They got DJs who have been here for like, I don't know. I think it's like almost over a decade old, isn't it? I haven't really gone digging, but yeah, DKFM. I can listen to it again now. So I am a richer woman, and that's my story. I think you should go listen to it. It's a lot of fun.